He lived his life the way he wanted, and he died old.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He's like the canary in the mine. Like you go, wow, what did he live till, like 80 or something?
What's his real name? He hasn't got a great name. Jacob something or other, right?
Oh yeah, what is Rodney Dangerfield's name?
He has a great like Rodney Dangerfield's a great stage name, but like all right, I'm looking it up. Rodney. All we need
Jack
is
Roy.
Jack Roy.
Yeah.
No, Jacob Cohen.
Who's Jacob? No, it's not him.
That's what it came up as.
For real?
Yeah. And then it has everybody's
right.
real name. Chevy Chase is Cornelius Crane Chase.
Oh, yeah.
I like how they have Don Rickles' real name. Donald J. Rickles. It's like he didn't change it.
No one does that anymore, huh?
I'll tell you, you know, I saw a name the other. I was looking up. Kind of obsessed with Miles Davis for like the last 25 years, and I like looking up stuff about his different drummers and stuff. You know, beyond Tony Williams or maybe Jack DeJohnette. And there's a guy that played with them on that album, On the Corner, guy Al Foster. So I was like, you know, I looked him up. He was still alive. I was psyched. I always loved the crazy angles of his cymbals and his drums and stuff. And if you could play with Miles, that meant you could play, right? So I looked him up, I think this morning or yesterday, and I found out Al was short for Aloysius. And it's just like that name is just that game that he was born in the 1940s. I think that name was almost gone. Like Aloysius and Ebenezer were just gone.
Ebenezer's a great name.
I mean, what is the nickname? Ebenezer, Beezer, Ebby.
Yeah, what is the nickname for Ebenezer?
Ebenezer. It's 4 syllables. There's no way every time I want to talk to you, I'm saying Ebenezer.
Yo, Zer.
Benezer.
Benezer. Ebba.
Ebba. Ebba. Eb. Be Eb. E.
E.
You just keep shortening it. Nothing. But Aloysius.
The name is sometimes shortened to Eben.
Eben?
Or Eben. I don't know. Even
I was always confused when I was a kid and they were like, yeah, if your name's John, they can call you Jack. And I was like, that's a totally different name.
Yeah. But it's kind of, it's got to be, but I think that's more like, that's like the, as I brought up the other day in my podcast, the Chevy Chevette and the Pontiac T1000 or the Camaro and the Firebird. You know, it's both a GM product. I think John and Jack, you know, sort of the same thing, no? Eben is a cool name, or Eben is a cool name. You meet a girl in a chick in a bar and you say that, that's cool until they say, what's that short for? And you're like, Ebenezer. She's just like, all right, I'm out.
She's like, this guy isn't going to pay for anything.
I am not banging a founding father.
You know, I wonder if it's Scrooge, if Scrooge was ruined that name. That book or that story is around for so long. I wonder if that ruined the name.
Do you think if Adolf Hitler had a more normal name like Joseph Stalin, because people will name a kid Joseph right and left.
Yeah.
When people think of Joseph, they think Joseph and Mary. They don't think Joseph Stalin.
Adolf was such a distinct name, Adolf.
Yeah, and there was like a couple of guys. There was also Adolf Eichmann. There was a couple of his friends had that name, like it was the German name for like Bob. And they just he shut down a first and last name. I heard his relatives agreed that the bloodline was just going to die out. Anybody who was related to him. And they he was such a fucking asshole. They all decided not to have kids, to just let the bloodline die out of respect for the horror that the guy created. But it was just like, I almost feel like his final, I don't know, asshole thing to humanity was that his own descendants or relatives couldn't experience the joy of having a child.
Jesus.
I mean, why can't you just change the name? Because they probably think it's contagious.
Yeah, you know what's crazy though is that
we got music in our family. What do you got in your family?
I wonder how German Americans of that, like because my family is German, my dad's side. I wonder how that was like after World War II. They had like pride in being German, but distancing themselves from that, you know? Like as opposed to like what nowadays when a war goes on, it's almost like you see like you see Muslim Americans standing up for and going, "Hey, we're not all like," as opposed to like defending themselves. But Germans just kind of shut down. They're like, "Fuck those guys." Those guys, Germans are animals, and like almost like we turned Germans into like sex fetish having type people. We created a dialogue for what Germans were for then on, you know?
Yeah, they seem to have gotten it the worst when there was so many people on both sides that just did so much. Like you're reading that book, Flyboys, when you see what the fuck went on in the South Pacific and they just not even brought up. And then some of the stuff that we ended up doing to win the war is just like, you know, when you firebomb a wooden city, I mean, okay, you drop the pamphlets and they have nowhere to go and you like burning women and babies to death. I mean, some of the shit that shit just in Dresden alone. And you always heard like, they were saying, you know, if we lose this war, we're going to be tried as war criminals is what they like. I mean, obviously never been in that position where you have to make a decision like that. But then it's also like, well, if we don't do this, then what are they going to do to us? I mean, it was insane.
It's fucking,
human beings do the capabilities of human beings. Like I heard this fucking story of this guy talking about the Germans coming in when I was doing a tour through Estonia and Latvia. In one of those countries, the Germans came in and they went to this guy's house. By the way, spoiler alert, this is an absolutely horrific fucking story. They went to this guy's house. They asked him information. He said he didn't know anything. And then they just grabbed his little boy by the ankles. I can't even say what they did. I mean, it was just right down onto a table. And like the guy, all of these years later, immediately just broke down into tears, dude. It was fucking brutal. And I was just thinking like, how in the fuck, no matter how much you hate another side, you could do that to a little boy or a kid. It's just like some of that shit, dude. When I was touring over there and you started reading up on some of that shit that they would do, it's just like, so that is just right under the surface of, like, as much as, you know, I've been watching all these fucking nature videos. It's weird. All these videos, these animals killing each other, this animal versus this animal and all this stuff, you know, and just like what animals can do and just be not even concerned about the suffering of the other animal at all. Yeah. That's why I like cats, like lions and cheetahs and tigers, because they'll fucking kill the goddamn thing first. As opposed to a bear that just starts eating you while he's holding you down. It's just like, Jesus Christ, buddy. How about right here? How about the next bite's right here? Just take me out. You're going to start in the back? I'm going to live forever here.
You start offering up parts of your body to go, hey, man, get like a vein right around here. Take a bite.
Yeah, I got to be like, I can't watch a lot of that shit because I don't know. I don't know how, like, people that delve into that part of the world and then go after those people and they have to sit there and like relive the tales of those crimes and just have that in their brain. I mean, that story that I heard, that guy that told them, now that I just fucking told everybody that, I wish I'd never heard it. It was one of those kinds of stories and that's not one of those things. When I hear those stories, I don't look at that like, oh, those German so-and-sos. I just think like, wow, with poor leadership and a collapsed economy, what you can get people to do is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
It's fucking terrifying, and you really have to I think that there's a belief out there that was olden day people and that we don't have those capabilities yet. And you're seeing people, I didn't want to say what people are doing nowadays because, I mean, dude, quarantining, the one thing, still can't say it. Quarantining has stopped a couple of deviant social activities that were becoming way too normal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's
Let's get back.
I wonder, do you think animals when they're when they're going across a river and the crocodile's coming at them and they kind of see them and start to get away, do you think they panic the way a human does? Do you think panic is specific to humans?
Yeah, they panic, they feel pain. They're starting to say now, which is what's going to be so fucking crazy for vegetarians, is that plants have higher emotional qualities than we realize.
Really?
Yeah.
That's gonna fuck up vegetarianism forever.
Yeah, and then that for me, that fucks with the creator then. Where who was the person that creates all of this? And in order for me to survive each day, something has to die. Something has to feel pain. Something has to be eaten. It's almost, when you look at it that way, it's like the whole thing is designed to destroy itself, to eat itself and just be used up. Like sometimes people look at like the universe like it's somebody like some of those crazy. I mean, I don't know any painters other than the ones they made movies about. That Pollock guy.
Yeah.
Like just goes like that, and then just sort of looks at it. It's like, all right, new canvas. And we're sort of getting to the end here. I don't know, dude. I got to do a stand-up gig because this is where my fucking brain has been going lately.
How soon until you get on stage, do you think? I know you got offers. I have
no gigs.
You have nothing. Have you got offered any of the outdoor shows yet?
Yeah, we've had like a few, but like the drive-in shows were such shit shows that I didn't want to do that. I don't want people like flicking their blinker, meaning they're groaning.
No one's not doing that.
I don't know. I've heard there's shit shows.
No, that's fucking.
I heard there's shit shows, Bert. Bert, you're one of those guys, you could be in a fucking kiddie pool in the fucking Mojave Desert and be like, "This is fucking great." I mean, that's the joy of hanging out with you. I'm not going to be swatting fucking mosquitoes and I can't hear anybody even fucking laughing.
You can hear people laughing. You will be swatting mosquitoes. That is a real.
Please open your sunroof so I can hear some semblance that you're enjoying what the fuck I'm doing. I don't want to do that.
No. I'll tell you, Bill. You just got to come do one with me. You'd love it.
Yeah, dude, I've done those gigs, dude. I've done.
They're not ideal. They're not they're not theaters. Outside. They're not clubs.
I stood outside where no one gave a fuck. I paid those dues.
Oh, I'm telling you, Bill. You gotta get. I'll give Berkowitz a call.
I have my own approach how I'm gonna do it.
You know how you're gonna do it. A bunch
of people. There is one thing that I am looking at, that whether people would be in cars or whatever. But it's also like in a state where people don't give a fuck. And then it becomes like, if you don't give a fuck, then what is my responsibility? I don't want to go there and take your money as you don't give a fuck. And then everybody gets sick. And then I'm hurting small businesses in that state that give a shit. So I got to go to a state where there's not, they've really tapered it off. And then they're going to just show, like, my agent's looking at some place where they're having a couple of music acts there. And on both of our big things, because we don't want to take the quick money in the short run and then fuck over everybody else, including ourselves, when we can go back to work regularly, push that down because we wanted to go out and make a quick hit. So we're figuring it out.
Yeah. Well, having said that, I got to get a nap because I have a show in 3 hours.
I'm happy for you, dude.
Wichita, Kansas, Bill.
That's great. I've been there.
It's a beautiful venue. It's funny, the things I look for. Old school drive-in, tiered, so everyone in the back can see the stage, and the stage does not block the screen. The screen is right above the stage. It's a perfect setup.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they went through and they closed the bathrooms, so the bathrooms are socially distant.
There you go. I think I've been to Kansas at least 40 times.
For real?
I mean, I've done every fucking college Kansas and Nebraska. I've been all over those. I remember being on the 80 when you're in Nebraska, and when you get about halfway through the state, there's some sort of just wooden bridge over the highway.
Yeah.
I forget if it's some tourist attraction or whatever. I remember driving that state, watching birds migrating to the south. Like I was in a Bugs Bunny cartoon, like the giant V's, like snowflies don't bother me, just fuck. And I remember driving through Wyoming one time and seeing these deer-looking things that weren't deer, going, "What the fuck are those?" On my way to Grand Junction, and I deliberately went up through Wyoming because I'd done the 70 so many times. I've driven through the Rockies, that tunnel. I did that a million fucking times. I want to see what the Rockies look like up there in Wyoming. And what I did was I did like half of the state, then I dipped down in. I don't know. Hey, dude, I got a great documentary you ought to check out.
What is it?
One of my listeners on the Monday Morning Podcast recommended. It's called Tread. Like, don't tread on me. TREAD.
Netflix?
Yes. It's about a guy who moves to a small town, buys his little piece of the American dream.
I watched this with my daughters. Oh my God.
Yeah. And
Fuck,
it's one of those things
so
where
good.
It made international news, but then Ronald Reagan died like the next day, and then that's all they talked about. I mean, it's actually kind of a good thing that lunatics didn't see what this guy did. But
that was a fucking amazing documentary that guy, you know, what's so funny is that like, I think my daughters, if I'm not mistaken, my daughters were like on his team, like almost 3/4 of the documentary through, and then when he just started killing people, they're like, "All right, this guy's a fucking lunatic."
No, I was with him until about a third of the way, and I'm like, this guy's fucking crazy. He didn't kill anybody though.
Did he?
I don't want to wreck it, but yeah, this fucking guy
just destroyed the things that people.
Bert, zip it. You just. I swear to God, Bert. Before social media, there was Bert Kreischer. Just tell him something and watch him try to.
Oh, one of the biggest dick moves I ever did. Right when I got back from Europe, I came home. I came back to my fraternity house, and my roommate, Mike Osborne, was reading like the hot new book, whatever the fucking big book was, like Michael Crichton. And I walk in, and he's in Charlie Erdman's room, and he's got the book. And I go, "Ooh, is that a good book?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm at the end." And Charlie's like, "You don't know what happens?" And he's like, "No." And he goes, and my roommate, Mike Osborne, took off out of the room and ran up to our room because he didn't want to hear what happened. And I said, "Charlie, what happens?" And Charlie tells me the ending. And I called our room on the phone, and he answered it, and I go, "He dies." And I hung up.
Oh!
Lost his shit. "You motherfucker. I've been reading this is the first book I read all summer. You motherfucker."
That's funny, though.
Yeah, it's fucking great. I miss those days.
He should have known the second you said you don't know what happened to be like, "Yeah, I mean, you can tell me anything. I don't give a shit. The book's not that good." And then maybe thrown you off the scent.
Yeah.
But run out of the room. Why did he answer the phone?
Answered the phone, just wasn't paying attention. Wasn't on his game.
Wasn't on his game. All right, that's it, everybody. Thank you again for listening to another wonderful episode of the
Bert
Pod
Cast.
All right, stay safe, everybody, in the new normal. See you next week.